what's going on? I'm Josh Boris. This is Colton Hill. Welcome to the South Sass podcast and the introduction to our show. So first off, we wanted to incorporate the name of our show with kind of where we're from, and because I'm proud to say that I'm from Saskatchewan and that I'm Canadian. And I understand that making a show like this isn't kind of the norm around here, and it might be hard to start this up and kind of get exposure, but we're kind of ready for anything, and we don't expect to get anything out of the show other than like growing and learning from other people. And I hope other people that are even on the show in the future feel the same way about that. So that's kind of my take on what we're gonna do. And yeah, you got anything to say, Colton?
I think we just get right into it. Like, we got a pretty good first episode going on here. Live performance. It's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, we're gonna have Brayden King on our first episode here, and we're gonna get his opinions on stuff, kind of get to know him, kind of hear some stories about his life, and kind of take it from there. And he's of course gonna do a performance for us as well.
Perfect. Well, let's chime him in here and get with it.
Sounds good. So here we're welcoming Brayden King.
How's it going, man?
What's up, dude?
Going really good. I'm really happy to be here. Just hanging out in my apartment alone. It's a good time to talk to some people, you know?
Yeah,
Good
no
stuff,
doubt.
man. I know it's been a bit of a process for us to kind of like start this up, and kind of been a whirlwind for us. And I'm sure we kind of screwed you around a bit, you know, since the first time that I hit you up from now. But here we are, you know, ready to do our thing. First episode, you know, should be fun, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. I'm happy to be here.
Perfect.
So we're gonna jump right into it. What would you say was some of your dreams and goals as a kid growing up? Like, doesn't necessarily have to be like career-wise, you know, like just like what were some of the dreams that you had growing up that you would say, or things that would maybe stand out to you? I'm sorry.
I would honestly say like lots of kids have like that firefighter dream or like policeman or all that stuff, but like literally if you ask any of my family members from when I was a kid, like I was always a performer. Like I just wanted to put on shows for my family. Like I would get all the cousins together and be like, here, everyone pick a part and we're putting on a show for everybody. And like, that's what I did. You know, it was always like, I was trying my best to like put on a show for people. And that's always what I wanted to do.
Yeah, 100%. Now you've kind of turned it into like more of a live stream thing now with like COVID and stuff too, right? And that's like, it seems like it's working out good for you. I know I've went into a couple of them and they've been really good. Like people would request songs and stuff and you'd kind of play whatever. And that's like truly authentic too, right? Like you're not putting any auto tune and like stuff that a lot of musicians will do nowadays, right? Like that's completely authentic, and it's really respectable, man. I like that.
Thank you. Yeah. The live streams have been a really, really fun time. Like I miss playing live so much because when I was like, for the past 6 years, I've really played a lot of live shows, whether it be by myself or with like the bands that I've been a part of. And then for everything to just come to a halt was really, really, really weird. Yeah. And I spent a lot of time trying to make videos and stuff. And then I decided, you know, let's give this live stream thing a try. And it's been a lot of fun, honestly. I've really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and that's the thing too that I notice is like, that's all it is just you're having fun, you're doing songs that you're familiar with and that people like too, and it's just a vibe, dude.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's a good time all around for sure. I have just as much fun as everyone else, I'd say.
Yeah.
Definitely takes people's minds off of everything that's going on in the world, right? You know, you just sit back, listen to some music, and
that's kind of the thing that we're trying to go for here on the show too, right? Is kind of like maybe not like a total escape from your reality, but like just to kind of chill back and like learn people's stories and different opinions on things and stuff like that, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. It's great to hear what everyone has to say, what's on everyone's mind.
Yeah. And like, I think it's good to like maybe disagree on certain topics too, because you have like, I feel like you get a way better conversation if like two people are on complete opposite sides of things, right? Like, just
definitely.
Hearing someone's opinion and like, and not saying that someone is right or they're wrong, you know, like just you're entitled to your own opinion on things, right? And that's
for sure.
And that's the cool thing about it, right? So what would you say was one of your favorite things to do as a kid? You mentioned performing and stuff like that. Did you have anything else?
I I was never a super athletic kid or anything like that. Like I did play water polo a little bit, and like that was fun for me. But honestly, it was always just like I. It, everyone's like says they find music later in life and stuff like that. For me, it was always just my drive for music. Like I remember as early as grade 1 or grade 2, I was pulling classmates together to start a band. Like even classmates that didn't even play instruments, I'd be like, "Yeah, you're in the band." And then like I'd bring them over to my house for band practice, and then we'd like try and do something musical for maybe 20, 30 minutes, and then it would be like 2 hours of playing. Except for real, it was a lot of fun to like try and do something like that.
Oh,
So I
exactly. And I'm sure you still even like learn something from that too. Even at that young age, you still like got a grasp for it, and you're just kind of just getting your feet like in the door, you know?
oh for sure, yeah, it was I honestly I looked back on some old home videos from some of our earlier band practices, and I was quite impressed with how things were being run. I was definitely I was very headstrong as a kid, I'd say. I uh, I always had the mindset of it's kind of like my way or it's no way kind of thing, and that's probably why lots of my childhood bands didn't really work out.
Yeah.
Right. That
So I,
happens though, right?
of
Espe-
course, yeah.
Especially if like maybe not you want it to be the main like attraction of the band or whatever, but like just kind of just getting a grasp of it too, and then maybe getting frustrated at different things, you know, just kind of learning it, and then like, you know, that can definitely stir up arguments and stuff like that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. There's always going to be that. I've found that in bands, even up until I was in the same band until um, well, I'm still in a band in Edmonton here, except even up until Seventh Avenue was done
Okay.
last just a couple months ago. We would still have our discrepancies, even like it's going to be a thing no matter the
So,
age or experience in bands.
Right.
Like it's gonna happen because like you can't have four people up on the stage all having the same musical idea.
Right.
Everyone's gonna have their own opinions on how things should be. So that's a lot of the reason why things sometimes don't work out for lots of bands. You know, like that's
Yeah.
basically why every band breaks up. You know.
Yeah, definitely. And even in not even like bands itself, just even in like friendships and stuff. Like I know me and him disagree on stuff all the time, and it's
Yeah.
just like, and it's just like another hump, you know, and we just get past it and like and learn from it too, you know.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that is a part of life for sure. That not everyone's gonna agree all the time, and that's okay because not everyone's the same person.
100%. So you said
honest,
you're in a band in Edmonton. What's the name of that band?
We're called Mactown, and
Okay.
we've played a couple shows. We kind of got our ball rolling right when COVID hit, and then all our shows got canceled, and then we came back in September here. So I've been in Edmonton since last September for about a year and a half now,
Okay.
and got the band started last November, and we played some shows and kicked around and got our name out a bit, and
Right.
then right when things started getting rolling, they were like, okay, yeah, you got the show, all this stuff, and all, you know, like we had all these gigs, and then I was like, okay, COVID hit in March, and then things stopped, right? And I moved back to Saskatchewan, and then came back to Edmonton in September, and then had some not even disagreements at all with some of the members, except just people couldn't prioritize it in their lives. So we ended up switching out two of the original members, and so now we have solidified four really really great members, and not there was no disagreements between the other guys. Like we're still great friends and
Solid.
everything. So yeah, and then we got together and played one big show at On the Rocks in Edmonton. I think it was November 1st, and then that's kind of when the second round of lockdown and everything started happening again. So we got one show under our belt with the new guys, and it's been a lot of fun playing with them. And we're definitely not done anytime soon. As soon as the stage is ready for us again, we'll be back out there for sure.
Yeah, you bet. That's great to hear. I'm sure it's got to be a bit frustrating to like you said, you kind of just got your group assembled, and then COVID hits and you can't really, you have not much that you can do. Like, you guys still like do like rehearsals through like Zoom or stuff like that? You still kind of like hit each other up and like try to give each other like maybe a little bit of positivity to, because I know in this world now, it's definitely, I'm sure a lot more people are like falling into that negative like mindset, or like, like it's easy to see things as bad nowadays, right?
For sure.
So, and that might also affect someone's drive to really keep making music, So like
Yeah.
even yourself personally, how has that affected you?
I find that I've really stayed occupied through music. We definitely do stay in contact as a band pretty well, but like in terms of it being a cover band is a lot different than what you'd call a real band, I guess. So a cover band is really, we're in there for the business, and it's basically just weekend warriors kind of thing, and it's something to get us through university, because if we were gigging pretty steadily and not having all these COVID issues and stuff, we would be paying quite a bit of our tuition just by playing these gigs on the weekend.
Yeah.
But it's really just a business thing, in that we're not really writing songs or anything together. We're just four guys that get together and play someone else's songs to go out and
Yeah.
That's cool.
except it is a lot of fun because we have great chemistry as a band together.
Yeah.
So except we don't really keep in touch when we're not rehearsing for something. Like
Yeah.
obviously it's like if it's someone's birthday or something, like we're still good friends and stuff, except in terms of
Definitely.
Zoom rehearsals and stuff like that, we don't really worry too much about.
Yeah.
But it's pretty amazing that when you come to, so I'm currently in Edmonton for I'm at McEwen University I'm in the music program, and contemporary music program. So there's players from all genres basically, and we assembled this band, and it's incredible the work ethic and the talent of these students that are at school with me. Like these are all just people that have the same passion for music as I do, and it's like we just put it together, and we can learn songs so quickly because everyone's just got their priorities straight. They understand how the music works and everything. So we put together a 3.5 hour show in less than a month with two new members.
That's crazy,
So
man.
it
Good
was
stuff.
it was really cool to see that like working with very high caliber musicians and what can come out of that, for sure.
Definitely. Would you say that it's harder nowadays to really I don't know how to word this, like maybe not get noticed, but like just kind of the inflation of like every industry, not music alone, but like kind of everything, to kind of like I don't know, maybe not necessarily be a professional or be at the top of the game, but to even like get your foot in and get noticed and maybe make a little bit of money of doing something different, like being an entrepreneur in literally any field. Would you say like nowadays it's quite a bit harder than maybe a decade or two ago to do that? Or do you think that with the technology, it might be even easier? And if you have the resources and like, watch the right videos and stuff, that you can put pieces together and you can really make something happen nowadays.
I would say that like the business overall of music is a lot different than it was 20 years ago, because 20 years ago basically record labels would send out a scout to go watch bands at shows and stuff like that, or just artists in general.
Right.
And then if they liked the artist live show or they liked their music and stuff like that, it'd just be like, okay, yeah, we'll sign you on the spot kind of thing and give you
Yeah.
and that doesn't really happen anymore. It's
No.
more so about who you know. And
Yeah.
except I really do find that it's crazy how quickly people can get discovered nowadays just from the viral
Yep.
how things go viral. So really, the Mactown band isn't my main focus at the
Okay.
moment. It's fun to jam with people, except really, I'm working on my own solo career and stuff like that, working on my original stuff, and I've found that I've probably grown my reach more so in the last 2 months than I have ever, just from TikTok.
Okay.
Like literally TikTok people, I honestly used to look down on it. Like I didn't even download it when I first heard about it because I was like, that is so stupid.
Yeah,
This is
that's the
silly.
same boat that we're kind of on right now too. You know,
Right.
like it's like,
Exactly.
and not to like put shame or like bring any negativity to anybody else, but it's just like, I don't know, the platform was just, for me at least, it was like, it didn't seem like a lot of people were really like, it seemed like they could have done more, you know, or like even put a little more effort in, but just because they might be a nice looking face or have like a good thing going, then that's what people are going to watch, you know. And I mean, that's kind of how it is nowadays too, right? So I don't know.
Well, what I find for TikTok is there's a niche like market for every single niche on TikTok. So like if you are a person that likes to watch cooking videos, and let's say you interact with all these cooking videos and
The
stuff like
algorithm
that.
is made to bring up more of those videos and stuff like that. Yeah,
Exactly,
I
right?
think that's kind of what every platform is going towards now too. I noticed that even on
Definitely.
YouTube, and yeah.
For sure. So like for me, for example, like I think it was I started making videos on TikTok and I was like, okay, yeah, I'll just try this out. We'll see how it goes and everything like that.
Yeah.
Was getting zero reach at all. Like just no one was vibing with anything. And it just wasn't getting pushed out to the what's called the For You page or whatever, which basically makes things go viral. And then I posted one and it was me singing one of my upcoming releases. It was a new single that I'm singing, and everyone just loved it. It got 66,000 views in a couple of days,
Wow.
and I was like, "Whoa, this is crazy!" And then my followers just kept on jumping up. I went from 200 to 2,000, and then I posted another video, and that video is sitting at like 450,000 now, and
Holy shit, dude.
now I'm at 20 now I'm at 2300,000 23,000 followers on TikTok
Wow, that's
Crazy.
crazy, man.
in a
So
couple of weeks, and I couldn't believe it. It was crazy.
so that's by far like your biggest growth on any platform in that period.
Oh, by far, for sure, because I find that like before, like I've now switched my Instagram account from a personal account to like just my life account, and I call it Brayden King Music because that's basically what my life is now.
Yeah.
Except I'd say that the majority of the people that follow me on there are either people that are like my friends or my family, and people that do like my music, except it's kind of a weird place that they're put in because like they're associated with me, so they're kind of forced to like my music. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah, 100%, man. Definitely.
So when I first made my TikTok, and even now, I didn't follow a single person that I knew, and I didn't even tell anybody that I had TikTok. I just started making them, and then I got organic reach, and people started like finding people that now really really like my stuff.
Yeah, that'd be
So
a really good feel good moment for yourself for sure. Like
for
having
sure.
that many people follow you on that. That's crazy.
Yeah, for sure. And it just keeps growing every single day, and it kind of blows my mind. And like now even my parents downloaded TikTok and they both have accounts, and like it just kind of made me chuckle because like I thought just thinking back when it was just like the little kid thing to do or whatever. And my sister was sitting with my dad when he set it up, and within 2 minutes he was on ice fishing TikTok and he was watching all these ice fishers like
Yeah.
like so
Yeah,
you
that's
find that you find the stuff that you like on the app and everything, so
Yeah.
it's quite crazy, honestly. And I think it is like now the number one platform for new creators to grow.
Yep.
Like it's just crazy for sure.
So what would you say? Do you think there was like, what do you think snapped from like you having zero followers or zero views on TikTok to blowing up on one post? Was it maybe the song that people liked, or just kind of the way you interpreted yourself? You know, was it like, what would you say?
I know exactly what it was. So basically, with TikTok, is like people can scroll past a post within a half a second. If they don't like the first half a second, they're gone. You
Yeah,
know. So
you
I
got to wow
basically
them right in the first second.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so my song that I showed them, it's an original song. It's called "Bad Night to Be a Beer," and it was inspired by a weekend that I had with Rylan Hoffman, a guy from Weyburn, and
Oh
it
yeah.
was
Yeah.
a good friend of mine, and just a very kind of corny but like party song, you know.
Right.
And I so I basically I wanted to grab them in the first 2 seconds of the video, so I said, I was like, I think I just wrote the next summer party song, let me know what you think. And then I also had the header and it said, show this to Luke Combs. And people like, so I was like, okay, yeah, that's gonna trigger people. They're gonna be like, oh, show this to Luke Combs, okay, maybe I'll watch a little bit of it. And
Right.
then it dragged them in to actually listen to the song.
Yeah.
So they listened to the full thing, and then I'd say the majority of the people really, really liked it. The crazy thing is, like, you get some hate comments, and those are just like the people that really want to just like make you feel bad.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like some of them are just like, I started actually not reading some of my comments because it was just like getting to be too much. I want to keep my when you're getting thousands of comments, it's like you want to keep your head straight, and I don't really
Yeah.
want to.
Exactly. And
So
that's the
I'll,
thing too. You could get 1,000 good comments, and you read that one negative comment, and that's the one that you're going to think
Yeah.
about and remember, and like.
yeah, exactly. As much as you try not to think about it, you're gonna think about it.
Yeah.
So
100%.
I try to not let that stuff go to my head, because obviously, like, that's part of the career. If I'm going to get into this business, it's going to happen. So I'm basically just training my mind to not let it get to my mind, you know, not let
100%,
it go to
man.
my head or anything.
How young were you when you first started playing guitar?
Guitar, I'd probably say grade 2 or grade 3. I
Wow.
think I took piano lessons for a year or two before then, and then I was like, I just want to switch to guitar. I'd much rather play guitar, and then I never looked back from that. I think I started in September, and then my first performance was at my grandpa's 80th birthday. It was a huge birthday party at the Mydale Central School in the gym, and I got up there in front of everybody and I played I can't even, it was like a blues thing or something like that. Except that was my first time getting up on stage to play guitar for anybody, and
Wow, good for you, man.
it
So
all
did
kind
you
of went from
go?
there.
Did you go for lessons, or were you self-taught?
Originally, the first, I learned Smoke on the Water from my older cousin Jordan. He was babysitting me and my sister, and he taught me how to play Smoke on the Water. Except then after that, I went to Alfredo. He's a guitar teacher in Weyburn, and we formed a very, very good relationship. And he taught me guitar for several years, as well as voice and piano. He just wanted to make me a super well-rounded musician.
Yeah.
So I would have an hour lesson with him every week, and we would basically work on whatever I wanted to work on. Like if I wanted to learn a certain song, how to sing a certain song, we'd do singing the whole time. How to play guitar for a certain song, we play guitar the whole time, or like mix it up and everything.
That's
So
awesome, dude.
I had a lot of great years with Alfredo. Yeah, it was wonderful. And then I just kind of found there was a time that I was like, okay, I'm ready to kind of go out
Yeah.
on my own. I think it was grade 8 or so that I stopped taking lessons, and I just started giving it and trying my best.
That's awesome to hear, man. Because there's especially at like such a young age that you like grasp that and really said to yourself like this is what I'm gonna do, and like I'm gonna practice and like put all my energy towards this. Because I know even for myself too, it's hard to really like grab one thing and run with it, like I'm kind of the guy that likes to do multiple different things and like try things out and stuff. But I really respect that you've done that for since you were in what, grade 2 or 3, like you said. Like that's really cool.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that's the one thing that has really stuck in my life. Really, like I tried so many other things. Like I tried basketball I think Colton and I even played on the same basketball team.
Probably, yeah.
He was in grade 9 and I was in grade 7. I think he was on the A team, and you were on the A team, right? In junior high, right?
No.
No?
I know we
Well,
played.
We'll say he was.
Yeah,
Yeah. You were on the A team or whatever.
Yeah.
Except, anyways, like they grabbed me in grade 7, and I wasn't even on the A team yet. Except, as many people know that know me in person, I'm super tall.
Yep.
And like they were like, okay, yeah, like we want to start training you to be like on the A team. We want to start training you to be like a really good basketball player. And I was like, okay, yeah, fine. They like pulled me out in grade 7 and I was like, okay, cool. And then I started and I just didn't like it and I wasn't really that good at it. So I just never stuck with it. I just always went back to music. And same with like, I played water polo for several years, loved it, except then I was like, but I love music a lot more. So I'm going to stick with music.
Yeah.
Same. There were so many other things in my life that it was just like, I always went back to music. That's the one thing that always stuck.
So what would you say made you want to pursue music? Was it like something that you seen, or maybe a musician you seen when you were younger, or like someone growing up that you really took a lot of influence from, or what would you say, or maybe not one thing, multiple things?
Um, well, I always had as I said, a performing thing about me. But what really put the music in me, I had to have been like 2 or 3 years old, and my sister dragged me in, pulled me into the living room, and she was like, "Brayden, you got to see this show." And it was the Wiggles. I don't know if you guys ever watched the Wiggles when you were younger,
Oh yeah.
but they're 4 Australian guys, and they sing as a band basically. And I fell in love with the Wiggles. Like I watched them from the age of 3 till grade 2, like so religiously. Like they were my first concert when I was 4 years old, and I was just obsessed. And like from that moment on, I just wanted to be a Wiggle. It was like I put on a Wiggles concert at Christmas, like with my cousins,
Right.
and like all this stuff, and like that's what super inspired me.
Yeah.
And it's great thinking back now. It's like that was my first inspiration, and then like I get really when I was younger, I would get very stuck in musical ruts. Like if I liked something, I loved it. So it went from the Wiggles to the Jonas Brothers, from the Jonas Brothers to Nickelback. I loved Nickelback for 3 years straight, in love with it. And then I went to like Marianas Trench, Headley, and all these like Canadian bands and stuff. And then finally come grade 12, I got really inspired by, no, like high school, I guess, super inspired by like classic rock, like AC/DC, Guns N' Roses, Aerosmith, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you to Kelly Kowachka, my bass player from 7th Avenue. He got me super into that stuff. So like, I would just get so stuck on one thing. Like if I liked something, I loved it, and that's how I always was as a kid. And that's
For sure.
all those things collectively are what inspired me to want to do everything that I'm doing right now.
Good stuff, man. So would you say that the influence is maybe not worse or better, but like from when we were kids to like kids growing up now, how would you kind of compare that? Because like you said, you had the Wiggles, and they were like cool kind of cartoons that I would watch kind of growing up too, and like all the musicians were kind of like on the come up, like Eminem and Drake and like all those big names now, right? But
For sure.
how much different would you say it is now for kids growing up watching like say Lil Pump, or like how much influence do you think that puts in the minds of kids for like a negative way?
I think like it's been the music industry has been like and like pop culture in general, and like things that influence every generation have been increasingly more vulgar as the years have gone on, um
And
like
more
in
more,
this.
and it seems like more things are being like people are okay with, like it's just like what's the next thing that's going to be
Yeah.
let go,
Exactly. Like you think back to the 60s when TV producers didn't want Elvis shaking his hips.
Yeah.
Like that was the big deal. And
Yeah.
then now on the radio you have songs like WAP by Cardi B.
Yeah.
Like are you kidding?
And
Like
she doesn't even want to play that song in front of her kid, man. I seen a
Yeah.
video of her, like I don't know if she was doing a live stream or whatever, and then she notices her kid right behind her while she's playing the song, and she instantly turns it off. Like, wouldn't you want to make stuff to inspire your own kids, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm not
agree.
yeah, like I'm not saying that she's a bad musician or anything, because like she has some good songs, but it's
Yeah.
just like that. I don't know about that one, dude.
For me personally, I am absolutely disgusted by that song in particular.
Yeah.
And then I think what makes me even more sad is that that song went to number one,
Yeah.
you know?
But I think the big thing around it is that they're trying to push like women's rights and to, like to be confident in who you are and stuff like
Sure.
that. But you can say that in other ways without
Yeah, that's a little
like, you know, like they went like way too
Yeah.
far. And that kind of
I-
goes into the same thing as like what's the next thing that is going to be allowed, and it was allowed on the radio. So
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And it's crazy that like you think so that song's all over TikTok and then you got 10, 11, 12-year olds on TikTok
Yeah.
yep.
and then that song has influenced how they live. It's a little it's a big question mark for me because it's like how appropriate is that, you know?
And that's the
Because
future of our world, man, too, is these kids
big
who
time.
are taking in all this content that is essentially like really like turning their minds in a whirlwind, right? And it's I don't know, for me it's honestly sad to see a lot of the stuff that's online nowadays.
Oh,
really
for
is.
sure. Yeah, parents have to like there's a certain amount of freedom that parents should give their kids, I think. And then there's definitely like a lot of things that should be controlled up to a certain age for sure because they're like if you let your kid of 11, 12-year old have completely free roam on the internet, like there's a lot of bad stuff nowadays that they can easily be influenced by, especially getting like even TikTok, as I say, is a great thing. Except let's say they start interacting with something that's not too inappropriate, then their entire For You page is inappropriate stuff. And it's like, and then
100%.
that completely influences how they live and how they think and all this stuff. Like technology is great, except it's just as bad in as many or even more ways.
Yeah, definitely. Um, what would you say is like oh, I lost the question I was going to ask you. Oh yeah, what so what message would you say you're trying to give to kids nowadays, or what's kind of your take on that?
Um, from my career personally, like I'd say that my biggest message would be like if a kid asked me what should I do or something like that, I think my biggest advice would be to like find what you really like in life, find what you really like to do, and find a way to chase that dream.
Yeah,
Basically.
and what makes you not like look at the clock and wanna like leave your work and like stuff like that,
Yeah.
you know, like that even for me especially, that's like my best moments is when I'm like just doing something that I enjoy doing, like you said, right? And like,
Exactly.
you know,
Yeah.
and like it doesn't just have to be one thing either too, you know, like it could be five, it can be 10, it can be 20 things, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. Find your passions and live your life by it and find a way to live your life while enjoying it.
Yeah.
Because like there's so many people that get stuck into the okay, I'm going to go to school for 4 years for this degree because that's what a responsible person would do, and then
Yeah.
I'm going to get this certain job that will make me X amount of money and let me live a meh life, but on the inside I really wish I was doing this.
Yeah.
Well, when you're young, like for me personally, like I know that chasing this music dream is a big risk. Like I'm well aware.
Yeah.
Except like I would much rather just take the risk when I'm young and just see if it's going to work out.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, then that's fine and I can figure out a more stable plan after that.
Exactly. And it's a learning experience in itself
For
as
sure.
well too, right? So
Yeah. Like I feel like if you're not stable in your 20s, people think, "Oh, I have to be so stable in my 20s. I got to have a house by 28. I got to be getting all these things set up." It's not a huge deal. Like your 20s is your age that you experiment and like figure out what you want to do with your life, and then you figure out how you get stable. Obviously not for everyone, except like it's okay to not be stable in your 20s.
definitely, man. I feel that for sure.
For sure.
What would you say is like the one thing that made you really want to keep doing this? Like, especially in like COVID times, like has it been like kind of diminishing to your self-esteem and like kind of pushing yourself more to maybe keep putting out music or maybe even writing music? Like, has there been kind of a dull moment for you in this in these last few months?
I honestly, like complete truth, I have COVID to thank for everything that's happening to
Yeah.
me or for me right now. Because in March, like I had like it had COVID not happened, we were gonna do a full 4 month summer tour and playing like 25 shows with Seventh Avenue and all this stuff, which would have been great. Except with COVID happening, obviously, all the shows were canceled, and it forced me to think about what I really, really wanted to do. And I started writing songs. Like when COVID hit, that's when I really started to write. Like I had written a couple songs before, except like then it turned me into a songwriter. And I started actually writing about things that were going on in my life and actually being quite proud of some of my songs. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I can make a solo career out of this. So then I went out and bought some recording equipment, started recording these demos, and I was like, okay, yeah, let me add on to this thing we did in the studio like a couple months ago. And then that's how my first single came out, was like, oh, just like trying new things and like all
Yeah.
this stuff. So and then through all that happening, it kind of made me realize that I would much rather just kind of go for a solo career, because I was really happy with the songs I was writing and really happy playing, like performing alone and doing that stuff. Like kind of like being in a band is great, except then there's a whole other side when you're the person that like getting up on stage alone and just obviously it's great when you have full control of everything that's going on, except then obviously if anything goes wrong, it's all on you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's definitely got its positives and negatives, except I've realized that I'm quite happy with a solo career, just kind of doing my own thing. And had COVID not hit and changed the world, it wouldn't, I wouldn't be anywhere where I am right. I wouldn't be anywhere near where I am right now.
It's awesome.
So I'm very thankful for the pandemic happening. Obviously, like it's a terrible thing that's
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
Except like
Okay.
I've kind of made my own best out of it,
Exactly.
and I'm quite happy with my personal outcome of what's happened during this whole pandemic.
Honestly, that's an admirable way to look at it for yourself, because I know even myself at times it is like it can put a bit of a downward spiral on yourself, especially like not being able to interact with people as much as maybe before, like in public settings. And like I feel just overall too, people are a lot more like maybe not angry, but just like in a frustrated set of mind too, where they might not be able to do the same things that they did 6, 8, 10 months ago. But in the other side is that's just what the world we live in now too. So you just gotta adapt, like you said you have, and you've obviously done it great with what you've got going on TikTok now too. And it's really cool to see the people that have really grasped what this world really, or what you got to do now in this world to be successful and like kind of get yourself out there and get noticed, right?
Yeah.
Oh
Like
yeah,
you,
for sure.
like you said, like you can be like in the times that we're in right now, you can be frustrated, or you can look at it the other way too, and you can do a lot of self-reflecting, like Brayden did, right? Just if you look at yourself and go, okay, I can't do, what's important in life, basically, I guess, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm quite thankful for how everything has kind of came out for me personally, and I sure hope that everyone else that's obviously all of us have gone through this pandemic together, and I sure hope that most people have made the best out of it as well. Lots of people haven't had the best experience, except then also it has been life changing, both good and bad, for lots of people.
100%.
Like honestly, like do you think that we would be doing this right now if there wasn't all this going on?
Probably not. Honestly.
Like honestly,
Probably
I
not.
don't think we would be.
Yeah.
I don't know. I fill my time up with, well, lots of useless things, but going out and partying on the weekends, you can't do that, And like I was saying, it gives a lot of self-reflect. Like, I'm the type of person that needs to be doing something, right? I can't just sit down and do nothing. I'm always figuring out something to do. So like, what do you do on the weekends now? I used to go out, whatever, Friday night and hang out or go for a couple of drinks or something, but can't do that. Josh proposed the idea of doing this. I was a little bit skeptic at first, and now that we're into it, I like it. It's good to be able to talk to people that, like, when's the last time that we had a conversation?
New Year's Eve 2020. I remember. That's the last time we chatted.
I probably can't say the conversation that happened that night, but
no, exactly.
Me neither.
But that's the thing too. Every time, like, the last time that someone sees this guy is like a highlight of their, maybe not year, but like just kind of a highlight in itself too, because he's such like an energetic and like likable guy to talk to,
Yeah.
And that's a big reason why I wanted him on the show too,
Put a few of these in me and
that's a party.
Just about anything, yeah.
That's a party.
But no, for sure, it's good to see people self-reflecting and not just focusing on the negative all the time. You hear too much of it, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. You got to find the positive in the world, especially like right now.
Yeah.
This is the number one time when you got to find some positive in your life.
100%. So for yourself, was there like a certain point where you were like, okay, I consider myself a professional, or I like was there like a leap that you had to get over to per se that you considered yourself better than before, or do you think that it was just a level up kind of thing and you just kept trying to grow in your into yourself and into music and stuff like that?
I definitely wouldn't consider myself a professional at this point. Like, even if I'm like doing professional musician things, like releasing music and playing solo shows and all this stuff and everything, I always look at my life and what I do as like, I want to be better than I was yesterday.
Yeah.
So if I look back on videos of me singing even 4 months ago, I sing a lot different than I did 4 months ago, because I train quite often. Like I practice every single day of how I play guitar, how I use my voice and everything, and how I want to express my music. So I'm always trying my best to improve, and I don't know if I'll ever get to it. I'm very hard on myself in a way. I definitely say that, like, sure, you'll go and see the TikTok that I posted whatever like a day ago, except you don't see the 10 takes or 20 takes that it took before that until I was like, okay, I'm actually kind of satisfied with this one, I'll post it, kind of thing. So I'm definitely hard on myself in a way, and I feel like most musicians definitely are, and people that care about their craft are definitely the same way too.
I think that's a great way to look at it too, because I don't know if you can say that a lot of people are maybe like piggybacking off of other people, but you can definitely tell that the authenticness of stuff nowadays is kind of not what it used to be, honestly, in a lot of different ways, not just music, but it almost seems like if people can take the easy route, they will. And it's really cool to hear that you're hard on yourself and that you really push yourself to be better every single day, because I know even for myself, it is hard to, like, especially if something big happens, to not dwell on that even months after it happens,
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's a big self-improvement thing, and just kind of like, I'm very hard on myself, honestly. Sometimes people say I'm too hard on myself, except it's like that's how you grow,
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly. I think it's good to be like that, with like in moderation too, and I'm sure you know that, especially, but
Yeah, for sure.
So you mentioned that you did a couple performances. Do you have have you performed like quite a bit, or do you have do you have how many times you performed? Do you know that, or have you performed so many times that you just kind of like forget about where you've performed?
I remember everywhere.
Okay.
The number is It's probably like 100 and some.
Wow.
I really don't know. Because when Seventh Avenue was playing a lot through my grade 10 to 12 year, like it was crazy that I'm so thankful for the high school experience that we got to have, because
Yeah.
when we were playing those shows on the weekends, like we would play probably 2 to 3 weekends out of the month during high school. So when all our friends were at these high school parties, we were at some bar in freaking Regina playing rock tunes,
Yep.
and it was
Exactly.
so much fun. So like I remember, except I literally remember every single show. Like we would, like whenever we're driving to shows, we kind of talk about past shows and stuff like that. And I would always be the one that would be like, "Yeah, I remember the exact
Yeah.
place that we were." Like I retained that kind of. I remember the weirdest stuff. If you ask any of my family members, they'll tell you that I remember the most pointless facts, and then I can't remember what I ate for breakfast.
Yeah.
Except it's funny, but yeah, I've definitely played so many shows that I've kind of lost count, but it's definitely well over 100 for sure.
That's amazing, man.
Do you have one that sticks out more in your mind, like one like favorite show?
Um, oh man, um, that is really. I think the biggest high that I ever felt, one of the biggest highs that I ever felt on stage, had to have been, we were in this when we were in grade 12. Seventh Avenue was playing a battle of the cover bands in Regina, and we were easily the youngest band in the whole thing. We were playing up against like 40 and 50-year olds, anywhere from our age to that age,
Yeah.
like very high caliber musicians. And we made it to the second. We played the first night, and I remember we were shaking in our boots. Like I sped up the song so much, like scared shitless, because we're sitting in front of three judges that are like judging everything that we're doing. Like this is the first time I've ever been scared on stage, just because everyone's so judgmental and everything. Then somehow we made it to the second round. We did pretty well. And then the second round, we were just full confidence, and we just went up there and played literally probably one of the best sets we've ever played in our
Yeah.
lives. And
Good stuff.
it was incredible. We just had so much fun up there. We didn't make it to the finals, except we just had so much fun, and
Yeah.
that that's just so memorable to me. As well as another show in Weyburn, we rented out the Legion in Weyburn. One of our friends' bands from Regina was on tour, and they were like, you know, we want to come through Weyburn, we want to play a show. Could you guys book us a show, and then you guys can play with? We'll open for you guys. And we're like, yeah, sure, let's do that. And it was a Tuesday night. We're like, yeah, whatever. Whoever comes out on a Tuesday night. We sold well over 100 tickets,
Oh
and
wow.
a whole in Weyburn, you know, on
Yeah.
a Tuesday night in
Yeah, that's
July.
crazy.
And we were like, that's awesome. And we just had so much fun. And it was just building these relationships through music. Like I've gotten to meet so many wonderful other musicians just through playing in my very short career, but I've made so many wonderful connections and friendships just from playing these shows and going out to, not even going out to play shows, except just going to shows
Yep.
and meeting other musicians and meeting other people in the industry and just making connections and friendships. It's incredible, honestly.
I think that's one of the cool things about growing up in like Saskatchewan, and kind of like everyone is like so supportive around here too, compared to maybe like literally anywhere else. And like even for like the Rough Riders, for example, like they were like one of the top franchises in the world for selling merchandise, and literally every game that they've had in the last how many decades have been sold out too. So
Yeah.
like it's really crazy to see how like supportive and like people want to see you do your thing and like
Yeah.
kind of ride your own wave, and they it's cool. It's really cool to see.
Yeah, I feel like Saskatchewan is just a super supportive province for everything local.
Yep.
It's quite amazing, honestly. Like growing up in Weyburn, playing in these bands and stuff, like people would always, there was never someone that told us like, "Oh, you guys suck." Like
Yeah.
there was, even if we did suck at some point, it was like there was never someone that said that. They were always like, "Oh, you guys are doing your thing. Oh yeah, I'm gonna come out and watch you guys play at Pump Jacks. Like let's go do that." You know,
Yeah.
everyone's always been super supportive, and I'm super thankful for where I grew up, and I wouldn't change it for sure.
Definitely. So my follow-up question is, do you believe that you're at an advantage growing up here, being in the music industry, or a disadvantage, and why?
Um, for the time that I grew up in Weyburn, um, I definitely say an advantage because for what we were doing when we were younger with Seventh Avenue, um, I miss those guys a lot. By the way, it's like it's crazy that we still keep in touch a little bit, except it's crazy that we're no longer playing together and everything. It's weird to think about,
Yeah.
but anyways, it's I feel like we were really lucky with where we lived because there wasn't a crazy abundance of cover bands
Exactly.
in Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
So if there was the be it the Crescent Point Christmas party, it was like, oh, let's book Seventh Avenue. They are the Weyburn band, you
Yeah.
know. Let's book those guys.
Yeah.
And then
Exactly.
even in Regina, it was pretty easy to get gigs in Regina and Moose Jaw and all that stuff, and play all these places and all these little small towns like Mydale, Radville,
Yeah.
Carlisle. We played
Yeah.
all over, and it was a lot of fun. Whereas if I were in that band when at the age and skill level that we were at the age of 16, 17 and living in Edmonton, we wouldn't get booked anywhere.
Yeah. Exactly. Because
Like
it's so inflated, right?
it's
Because there's
so inflated.
Yeah.
There's so much competition. There's so much competition. So I feel like we were really, really lucky growing up where we were to be able to get that experience because it would definitely have been a lot more difficult growing up in a larger center.
Yeah.
I feel like in Saskatchewan, people that live here want to hear about a Saskatchewan success story. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like look at like even like Tennille Arts, and it's crazy, just the support.
Yeah.
Like, and it just blows up too, right? As soon as someone from Weyburn, probably not very many people from Saskatoon know about them, but as soon as they kind of get to that next level, it's like now people over here are listening to the music. Now people in just kind of it gets widespread. I think pretty easily here, just because people want that success in Saskatchewan.
Yeah, exactly, and it's one of the most Weyburn in general, and then Saskatchewan as a whole has just always been a very supportive community for all things local. As I said, like if you're doing your thing and you're having success with it, people are going to support you, even if they don't even like it that much. Like let's say people in Weyburn aren't huge country music fans, they're still going to support Tennille Arts.
Exactly.
And I think that's the coolest thing, because you don't really see that anywhere else. Honestly, you don't.
Oh, for sure.
And I don't know what it is, if it's just like that there's not enough talent around, not necessarily talent, but just like not enough like viral stuff or exposure. I don't really know what it is. I don't think it might not be just one thing either. It's really a weird subject to talk about, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, Weyburn in general is just an incredible community. Honestly, I'm very thankful for having grown up there.
100%.
Like you can even see that in like small businesses that start up here. Like it's you start from nothing, and now stores that are here that now have another store in a different town, and just because having that local support.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, for sure.
So what would you say you're most passionate about? Like obviously music would be like kind of your number one thing that you do, but would you say that it would be like a characteristic about yourself, or like such as like treating everyone how you want to be treated, or like how you go about every day? Like how would you maybe describe like yourself in that way?
I have always liked being a very positive person. Like I always want to greet people with a smile, and you never know what someone else is going through, even if you don't know someone. If you don't know the other person, you never know what they're going through. So why would you scoff another person off if they tried to talk to you or something like that? So it's always been a big trait of mine to be a very outgoing and talkative and nice person to everyone. Like I'm super friendly. Like if
100%.
people that don't know who I am, I will talk to literally anyone.
Yeah.
If someone came up to me and they wanted to have a conversation with me, I'm gonna have a conversation with you because I want
Yeah.
to be your friend. You know,
Yeah,
so
and I personally believe that that's your best quality is because like you make people want to gravitate towards you, man. Honestly, you do, and it's I think a lot more people need to be like that nowadays, especially with how easy it can you can get in like a down state of mind, you know. And
well, yeah,
I
for
really
sure.
respect that you're staying positive and that you're trying to spread a positive message with your music and stuff like that. It's really amazing to see, man.
Thank you, man. I really, really appreciate that. That's really nice.
Yeah, you bet.
I honestly can't think of one memory or anything of ever seeing Brayden in a bad mood ever.
No,
Like
exactly.
he's always positive, always in a good mood.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's and
So would you say that like does anything ever get to you? Like, do you ever feel like do you ever feel down in the dumps? Does something happen to you? Maybe something major happen and you get a bit depressed, or do you try to see the positive in everything and try to kind of stay away from that as much as you can?
I would say that I live a quite positive life, and I'm pretty lucky for not having too many hardships in my life. I'm quite happy with how I've grown up, but
Right.
I definitely do wear my heart on my sleeve, and I'm an emotional person. If you, anyone that knows me, I take a lot of things to heart. So even if I don't show that I'm showing emotion, it'll get to me sometimes. Except I really do try to stay as positive as I possibly can because uh, I'll be in a moment of sadness or whatever and or anger and just feel like I could be in a happier state right now. And if I could choose to be in a happier state, I'm gonna choose that, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
I always try to look on the brighter side of things. I do journal quite a bit. And that I found has helped me a lot. I've done that since COVID kind of hit. And I
Yeah.
just kind of journal my thoughts and get everything spilled out there so that way things aren't like even if I'm not talking to someone per se, it's no longer bottled up.
Yeah.
It's out there, and I've written it down and I've gotten it out, and then I can move on with my life. You know?
Exactly. I feel like that's the biggest thing with a lot of people who are maybe in a negative state of mind is they're constantly thinking about maybe not just one thing, but maybe a multiple of things that are negative and have happened to them, and they just can't get past it. Maybe they do need to talk to someone or get some therapy, but um, like it's just hard to, especially when you're in that mindset, to get out of it too. So it's
For
really
sure.
like it's really awesome to see you try to see the best in everything and everyone, especially. And yeah, it's cool to see, man. I really
Thank
respect it.
you. Thank you so much.
do you
Like,
ever like with your emotions like express it through your music as well? Like if you're feeling kind of down, like even in your writing, like do you find that like, oh well, this is how I'm feeling, and this is going to be kind of like a more of a sad song or more, you know what I mean? Like you
Yeah,
express it that in that kind of way.
for sure. Like let me think in like a particular issue with like let's say a girl there was like an issue with a girl or something like that, and things didn't work out or I got played or they just were like toying with my heartstrings or something like that.
yeah,
There was one instance where that was happening quite a bit, and it had happened on several occasions because I'm as I said, I'm an emotional person, so uh, I take things to heart whenever things do happen. So I would say that I used to write to like try and just make a good song, except now I write with the most brutal honesty that I can because I feel like everyone just wants to hear a story. So as I was saying, the girl thing had happened on multiple occasions, and then there was one that just kind of set me off, and then I just started writing, and the next thing I know, I had written 4 full pages of just like thoughts on
Yeah.
all these situations, and then within 10 minutes after that, I had written a song called Never Wanted You, and it's one of my favorite songs that I've ever written that we'll be recording on Monday. We're going into the studio on Monday.
Good stuff.
Super stoked for that. And it's one of the most honest songs that I've ever written in my entire life. Came from a very hard place and an honest place, but I'm so happy that I wrote it because now I'm expressing my true feelings as opposed to trying to write something that isn't me, you know?
Right.
I find with a lot of music now, that's kind of what it is. It's just, it's more like trend. Like it has nothing to do with the artist. It's just, oh, what's popular right now. And
Exactly.
I find that it's, you kind of like, we're kind of losing that aspect of like the storytelling of in a song and like the truth and, you know, just something like that, you know?
No, I 110% agree with you. Like things people are trying to hop onto whatever is gonna get them fame or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, I'm trying to write the songs that I feel I need to write.
Yeah.
Like there's
Exactly.
sometimes that I sit down and I'm like, I need to write a song today because I need to get this emotion out of my head. And that's another thing that like when you say, do you ever get down in the dumps? Sure, of course I do. Except then I find a way to get out of it, and writing really, really helps me in that way. As I say, journaling, and then lots of my journal entries turn into song ideas, and
Yeah.
then those song ideas form into full songs, and that's how you get your repertoire kind of thing.
Yeah, you bet. It's really inspiring to see that you're able to kind of channel your anger, maybe kind of anything negative, and maybe channel it towards a positive way, as per se, like writing it into music and making it into a song, and like trying to maybe kind of make it a positive way, you know.
Right.
It's really cool to see that you can do that, and you can be successful with it too, which is what you've proved, honestly.
Thank you. Yeah, like honestly, I find that like so that song I was talking about in particular, like it's called Never Wanted You, and I I never really thought about so like that is my personal situation with the song, except I quite often go live on so I do my live streams on Instagram and Facebook, and most of the people that watch those are my friends and family.
Yeah.
But then I do lives on TikTok, and TikTok lives basically anyone can show up, and I'll have up to like I think the most I've had is 70 people watching at a time, and then overall viewers within like an hour will be up to like 500. Like a lot of people come in and watch
Wow.
this. And when I play my originals, like that song in particular, a lot of people relate to it because even though it's not their story in particular, they relate to the honesty in a similar situation.
Yeah.
So it's like when you write honestly, people relate even more. Even if it's not their story, they can tell that there's honesty and it's the emotion that
Yep.
transfers over. And it's like, it's super, super cool. Like when a song hits you, it's because of honesty. It's not because they're trying to be fake. It's because they're putting their heart out there into the lyrics
Yeah.
and yeah.
Right. And do you think that has a big thing to do with, like we were talking about earlier, like kind of people maybe faking who they are and like trying to do anything to kind of get viral or get noticed and whatnot? Do you think that plays a big part as to why maybe they get fame or they get a bunch of money or they get to where they want to be, but they still aren't happy? Because
Oh,
that's maybe
yeah.
not, maybe because what they did wasn't their dream, or like any other factor, right? Do you feel like that has a big impact on happiness?
Oh, 110% for sure. It's like I would much rather make honest content and gain a following slowly than make content that people really, really want to see, like those viral dances and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and get fame for that as opposed to getting a lot of following for people actually liking what I have to say. I'd much rather have this has always been something that I thought like I would much rather have 100 people really get connected and enjoy what I have to say than 1,000 people that just kind of like me for
Right.
some reason or whatever. It's like I would rather have 100 true fans than even a million kind of meh. You know, I want to touch people. I really want to get my message in my songs out there, and that's why I try to write a lot of songs in general and a lot of songs that I feel can be relatable and honest for sure.
And in my opinion, I feel like you're hitting the nail on the head, man. Like I'm inspired every time I hear you sing, every song I hear you perform. Like anytime, dude, it's really cool to see, and it's inspiring for sure.
Thank you so much,
Yeah,
man. That
yeah.
really, and honestly, again, thank you guys so much for having me on. Like for you guys to think of having me as your first guest, it means a lot, and it's been a really really cool experience talking to you guys so far. Like this is
Yeah.
really great. I'm glad that you guys thought of me for sure.
Yeah, definitely. We wanted to keep it like not necessarily local, but like kind of like show people out that are local, not necessarily just Saskatchewan too. Like we want to be able to do things throughout Canada and maybe even expand from there too. Like
For
we
sure.
want to be able to like give people a platform to voice their opinions and to give them a little bit more publicity or anything like that.
Yeah.
And just kind of be a
Definitely.
helping hand or a stepping stone to where they're meant to be.
Definitely. Yeah, I love what you guys are doing. I think this is a wonderful idea, and you guys definitely have the personalities to do a really great job with something like this.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. So, do you have hobbies or interests other than music, or do you kind of just strictly stay to the grind?
I definitely don't strictly stay to the grind. I love watching Netflix. I watch a lot of Netflix. Like when I find myself like getting burnt out from like writing, uh, actually it's kind of been a blessing. I live in an apartment in Edmonton, and it's a 2-bedroom apartment, and my roommate moved out in December, and someone is covering his lease but living in a different room in the building. So technically, like I'm not paying any more than I was before, but I have 2 rooms to myself. So it's pretty awesome. So
Cool.
right now I'm in my office, and then the room across the wall is my bedroom. So I'll come in here to do all my work and write and everything like that. And then when I feel like, okay, I need to decompress, I'm going back to my bedroom. I'm gonna lay on my bed and I'm gonna watch Netflix, and that's my downtime. So I watch a lot of Netflix. I like reruns of The Office.
Yep.
I like
Classic.
How I Met Your Mother, and
Another classic.
right. So just that kind of stuff. Just like something that I can just put on and I don't have to pay too much attention, but
Yep.
I enjoy it. So
Yeah.
there's that. I love snowboarding, and then snowboarding is a great time. And then my parents own a cabin at Katepwa Lake in Saskatchewan, and I spent last summer there, the entire summer working there, and I'm going back this summer, and just boating and wakeboarding and tubing and doing all that fun summer stuff
Yep.
is like some of my favorite stuff in the world. Going out and fishing with the boys, like there's nothing better, you
That's
know?
awesome, man.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
good to hear that you have multiple different things that you enjoy to do and that you're passionate about because you can get like it can be like exhausting to yourself as a whole to be just like solely on one thing. And like
Definitely.
yeah, so it's cool to see that you got multiple different things, and it makes for a healthy life when you have like somewhat of a balance between
Yeah.
between different things, right? So
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I always try to find like, okay, so there's school, there's my music outside of school, and then like I need to have a life too.
Yeah.
So I try to keep everything quite balanced.
yeah, so you mentioned school. You're taking some extracurricular right now.
I'm currently in the music program at McEwen. I am in the general music program with a minor in music business. So
Okay.
all my courses are focused in music business. And just quite recently, I decided that I'm no longer going to finish the degree of the music program. I love the music program, but I've realized that a degree in music isn't as valuable as per se uh, like a business degree or something like that, or like
Yeah.
it's just not as valued. The main thing that you get out of being in music school, or the position that I'm in, is like the knowledge that you get from these
Yeah.
classes. Like
Yeah.
I've improved so much as a musician in my knowledge in the last year and a half of being here than my entire life. So I'm so thankful for my opportunity of being here. But I've found that after I'm done this semester, I'll have taken all of the classes that I really find valuable to my career. So I'm gonna opt out with a diploma in the program, and then I'm gonna switch over to a business, like just like marketing.
Okay.
But once COVID kind of, I've had a chat with my parents and kind of told them what I've been thinking about, and I basically have decided that once COVID kind of chills out and allows for things to be happening again, I'm gonna basically take time away from school and just go full head on with my music career. I'm gonna try it for 2 to 3 years, just full on, and just see what happens. You know,
Yeah,
because like you got to give it a full shot if you're really gonna go for it.
exactly.
So that's what I'm gonna do. And if per se, like let's say things do work out, then I just keep going with it. But if I don't see a lot of traction and stuff from that 2 3 year mark, then I'll come back and finish my business degree. But then at least I can say that I tried it. You know.
Exactly. Yeah. It's good stuff to hear, man. Really good stuff to hear.
So yeah, I'm super stoked on that.
All right, Brayden. So, where would you say that you would see yourself in the future? Like maybe say like 10 years from now or 5 years from now, even.
I would say like COVID permitting, of course. I just want to tour. I want to play shows in as many cities and countries as I possibly can. And I just want to make music that I love and record and release that and just keep going through that process of like recording, releasing, touring, and just doing that.
Yeah,
Literally, because performing is literally my number one favorite thing to do in the world. Like it gives me the biggest high of life to get on
definitely.
stage and play for people. So
And that's what you've gotten good at too, honestly. Like from the shows that I've watched, man, you're amazing. Honestly, you are. You go about everything with such a good mentality and positive way, and that's a really good message to be spreading to like younger kids, like we were talking about before too.
thank you. Yeah, I try to keep my composure on stage for sure. It's I've gotten better at it as I've performed
Yeah,
over the last years, and trust me, I still get nervous sometimes. Except it still is my number one favorite thing to do.
it's really like anything though. Like I know I wasn't good at literally everything that I'm decent at or good at now when I
Right,
first started. Like all
for
these
sure.
there's kids come like growing up now and they're like, oh, I don't know if I'm good at that, or I don't know if I'm good at this. But it doesn't matter if you're good at it or not. If that's truly what you like and that's what, like you said, gives you that high or like makes you feel good about yourself, then do that and you're eventually going to get better at it. Like all with anything, just practice makes perfect, man. It's an old term, but it's a good thing to live by.
Oh, I 110% agree with you for sure.
Yeah.
Is there a certain venue or city that you've always wanted to perform at?
Um, I really dream of touring in Europe, more specifically in Belgium. I really want to go back to Belgium. For those of you that don't know, I lived in Belgium for a year, and it was an incredible experience in my life. I really, really enjoyed it, and I just love the country. And I think a Europe tour is like number one on my list. And then I really, really want to get to the West and East Coast. I've never been to either coast of Canada, and I can't think of any better way of me seeing those coasts, but
Exactly.
Yeah.
like to go and tour, you know. So that's
Yeah.
what I want to do.
And I think that's one of the best ways, other than like kind of online nowadays, to really get yourself out there and get exposure too, right? And
Yeah,
especially with like, I'm sure like younger people from Belgium might know you eventually or whatever, but like especially around here, like a lot of older people aren't up with like certain technology and might not even know about a guy like you, right? Because they just
exactly.
don't know how to find a guy like you, right?
Oh
So
yeah, very true. Yeah. So touring, you reach a whole new demographic, and that's really how you build a great
Yeah.
fan base for sure.
yeah, yeah. So would you say that you are scared of the future in the whole world as a whole? Or do you think that the world is going in a good place, or society, or however you want to say it? Do you feel that we're in a good spot and we're going to be going to a good spot? Or do you think we're at a bad spot and hopefully going to a good spot?
Um, I think we were at a bad spot, and I think that with the way that things are progressing right now with the vaccinations and stuff, I think that we're getting closer to a better spot. We're progressively getting better, I would like to say. There's obviously going to be the hiccups like what's been going on in the US and stuff like that. I feel like Canada, we've been pretty lucky with
Oh yeah, exactly.
overall how things have been. Like our case numbers haven't been stupidly insane and all that stuff, and everybody's been able to keep their composure for the most part. Except I think that the world will we'll land on our feet again. Like this was a crazy time, and there's never been, well, there has been like things like this in the past, except I don't know to this extent.
Yeah.
Except, yeah, we're gonna get through it for sure. I think. I hope.
Yeah.
Seems like we always find a way to build it back up.
Yeah. It's some way or another we're gonna do it.
So in the other sense of that same question, would you say that technology is going in a good way or a bad way?
I'd say that there's just as many positives that there are negatives.
Yeah.
Because like I heard about, I haven't watched this documentary yet, but it's called The Social Dilemma. Have you guys watched that? It's on Netflix.
I have not, no.
It's on Netflix, and it's basically creators of all these popular social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and everything, and them talking about the downsides of the platforms that they have created, especially Facebook and their ads and everything like that, and how little privacy that the users actually have and stuff, and how much control that these applications have over people.
Yeah.
Like literally the apps that people use, like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and everything, their goal is to get you to stay on the app as long as humanly possible.
Exactly.
So they're gonna take as much information from you as they can get in order to give you the content that you want to see, in order to keep you on their application longer, and in order to buy something or whatever. So it's like, that's a downside. Except then again, people are growing and making their careers out of these applications, and they wouldn't have been able to do that without them.
Exactly.
So there's so many positives and negatives, and I
it's
feel
all
like
perspective, right? And kind of you got to take the good and kind of do away with the bad, or not really I don't know, keep that as your main focus, you know, like try to see the best in everything, like you were saying before with your music and whatnot too. So
for sure.
Yeah, like for technology wise though, like it's really cool to see some of the things, like I don't know if this is actually going to be a thing, but like Elon Musk's Neuralink or whatever. Have you heard anything about that? Like that stuff is like I don't know if us as a society are just on the verge of becoming cyborgs, or like what the deal is here, but it's really cool to kind of hear about and to see that these billionaires are putting their money towards like at least trying to see what technology can do, or like how far we can really take this.
Yeah. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on for sure.
I think that, agreed. Like I think Elon Musk is definitely trying to do a lot of positive things for sure with what he, like I listened to his one podcast with Joe Rogan, and he was talking about what's it called? The
Neuralink, I think it's called that.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be some chip that they insert into your brain, I think. I haven't really I'm not that educated on it. I've just kind of heard about it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. And like they can fix eye vision and help with mental disorders and all these incredible things. And they're saying that all these changes could be coming within 10 years. Yeah. And it's insane to think about. The developments that have happened in the last 10 years have been incredible. Like,
and I think we're going to see double the development.
Oh, I think it's
in the next 10.
Yeah.
Like, I forget where I was reading it, so it could be wrong too. You never know what you're reading on whatever app it is, if it's true or not. But I'm pretty sure somewhere in Europe they just the first artificial brain.
That's nuts.
It was somewhere. Yeah.
which is crazy. Like it makes you think like that could be a tool for a lot of good, or it could be a tool for a lot of bad.
Yeah, exactly. And that's really where the subject gets touchy. Like with all this control being put towards the makers of like who make these brains and make these neural links and stuff, they can essentially control what you do if it's inserted in your brain or if it even is your brain, right? They not they I'm sure it's possible to program it that they can like literally control you.
Yeah.
And that's where it gets touchy and scary and like I don't know how to really I don't know. It's just a weird kind of topic to hit, you know.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. It's definitely gonna be something to watch within the next couple of years. What kind of developments that they come up with and how it's gonna change the world, because I feel like it's gonna be very substantial.
Yeah. I think I've heard a lot of people say it too, and I believe it. Like I feel like these next like few decades is gonna be like pretty crazy for technology wise, because it already has gotten crazy in what since we were younger. Like even since we were in high school, man, it's skyrocketed with everything. And it's cool to see.
It is for sure.
So you kind of mentioned like one of your songs was kind of towards a girl and maybe not in a positive way, or like kind of something bad happened between you and you kind of channeled that into a song rather than feeling down on yourself. How is your dating life been through like COVID, and has COVID really affected like maybe not even like a relationship, but just even like friendships too? How has that really affected you?
In terms of like dating, I've never really had a relationship. Like I've been on dates and stuff before, but I've never actually had a relationship, which is funny, but like that's fine.
Exactly.
Except like even in friendships, it's like it is difficult because especially living in Edmonton, where it's a very high traffic area and there's a lot of cases of COVID, you have to be very selective of the people that you associate yourself with for many reasons. One of which, like many people don't really care too much about what's going on with COVID, and they will go out and be with 40 people and go to a private party of some kind, and then they'll be like, "Yeah, do you want to hang out?" And I'm like, "No, I don't want to hang out. You were just with that many people," and I'm like, "No, you don't really care what's going on."
Exactly.
So I have a bubble of 3 people that I actually the only people that I see in Edmonton really, and it just kind of happened, I guess, because one of which is my neighbors across the hall. You know, we just kind of hang out and like it's literally like Friends, like the TV show Friends. Like I go over every day and we just kind of hang out and all that stuff.
Okay.
So it's like
that's cool.
Super convenient.
It's probably, exactly. I was just going to say that.
Sorry. So yeah, it's great. Yeah, so like selective of friends in that way, except like that just kind of happened upon. You know, it was like I didn't know them before like 4 months ago, like when I moved in, except like now we're good friends. So like I feel like I've had to be super selective of the people that I spend physical time with, like in person, except then also it makes it like, especially during the whole lockdown thing, I feel like I reconnected with so many people that I wouldn't have had the pandemic not happened. Like I called up so many friends from Belgium that like I probably wouldn't have had my life been as crazy as it is normally, just to like see how they were doing and have a real good conversation. And now I'm in more touch with all of them than I ever was, you know? So it's a blessing and a curse, I'd say, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like you usually get like the most raw friendships when it's like just like a random occurrence, or you just like randomly meet them and then you kind of just mingle and like click instantly. Like those are usually your best relationships, right? Rather than like, oh, I like the look of you on Tinder and I'll swipe this way and hope it works out, you know, because you don't actually know the person. It's not based on personality, it's based on a profile, which is what literally everything is nowadays, which is kind of why I feel like it's gone in like a very negative way, based on like profiles and stuff. But in another sense, you can make your profile kind of how your personality is too, in a way. But I feel like a lot of people don't do that because that takes a lot of effort to really do that, you know?
Yeah, and then it's also like there's with those profiles, it's like so many people. It's like the less effort that I put in, the more desirable I'll be. And there's like all these little games that people play,
Yep.
and it's like,
Yeah,
come on, just be a real person. And
exactly.
like,
Yeah.
like I don't really mess too much around with those apps anymore because it was
No.
like it's toxic, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
You're
100%.
not even like looking at a real person because you're looking at a super edited photo.
Yeah.
And they might not actually be talking how they actually are in real life and all this stuff. It's just not I would much rather meet people organically, and that's
Yep.
why I can't wait for things to go back to whatever the new normal is going to be,
Yeah.
because I want to meet people in person and not over some app, because I don't really like that at all.
Yeah. See
Yeah,
how people genuinely are, not just what they portray themselves to be.
Exactly, because on
Yeah.
those apps you can basically portray yourself as anything.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
it's nuts.
Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head saying that I'm not saying that guys do it more than girls or vice versa, but there is like a lot of games that people like to play on those apps, you know, and it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
just singling out Tinder or whatever. I'm sure they're all like that, but it's just really frustrating to see that people would waste their time essentially because that like even for myself personally, I feel like I've wasted my time on that app or any of the apps that have to do with dating or meeting people. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's really frustrating, honestly, especially
Oh,
now
for
that
sure.
you can't like go out and just meet people or like, because it's honestly, even if you do match with someone, like where are you going to go? Where are you going to take them?
Yeah.
Like where are you moving forward from the match other than just like a simple conversation? Like, I really don't know where you go after that.
Yeah, like aside from like, oh, let's go do something outside, like let's go skating or something like that, there's nothing.
No.
You legally at this moment, especially like Alberta, I feel like Saskatchewan's restrictions are a bit looser than
A lot more
Alberta's
lax.
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, except like in Alberta, we can't even go to a restaurant.
Wow.
Like
Yeah.
restaurants are closed.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing to do here. So it's like you don't go anywhere from those conversations, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So like I said, it essentially is a waste of time. Like, not saying for like, I'm sure people have met good people on there, but it's just like for myself, it's just frustrating. You know, it really is.
It's actually funny. One of my good childhood friends. He's 4 years older than I am, and we grew up in the Katepwa Lake campground together. And I'm actually his best man, and him and his fiance met on Tinder.
Oh wow.
So there is success stories.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
happens. It
Yeah.
does happen. Just not for us, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for him though. That's amazing to hear. Honestly, it really is.
Yeah.
You can find true love really anywhere.
You
Oh,
could probably
for sure.
get sponsored by the app.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's endless possibilities, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna kind of switch topics now. Do you would you say that you believe in ghosts or spirits or
Crazy stuff.
kind of anything to do with like the afterlife, or what's your opinion on that?
Definitely. Yeah. I'd say I haven't had any like ghost experiences, except I feel like I've heard enough to like believe that there is something. I was raised Christian Lutheran, and I'm definitely a religious person. I would say so. I definitely believe in the afterlife and all of that. Except in terms of ghosts and everything, I feel like there's definitely enough proof that
Yeah.
like of existence, in my personal opinion. What do you guys think?
I definitely agree with you. Just recently too, a few months ago, I lost my grandma, and she was also like quite religious, and I remember like going to church with her and stuff when I was quite little, but a very weird thing happened to me after she passed away, and it was I was sleeping in my room one night, and I just kind of like randomly woke up, and then I know for a fact that I heard her voice. I could hear her talking, and all I could do was open my eyes, and then I was instantly scared because I couldn't move. Like I tried to move and I couldn't move.
Yeah.
And then all I could hear was like her voice in the background. And then like I was like, because I live with my other grandma, I was like calling my other grandma for help because I thought I was like paralyzed or something. Because it was like the one of the weirdest moments in my life, man. Honestly, it was.
Yeah.
And because I was like fully awake and I couldn't move. And then like I heard her talking to me. She was like, it's okay, it's okay. Or I remember her saying like, I love you and stuff like that. And it was just like really a wholesome moment for me too, because I was kind of scared that I couldn't move, but at the same time I was like comforted with her voice. So it was like just a really weird experience for me. And I don't know, it was honestly really weird and like something that I'll never forget for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I 110% believe you. Like that is for sure. Like wow.
And another
that's
weird
incredible.
thing too is that I keep her what would you call it, the eulogy or whatever that they have printed out
Right. Yeah.
of it. I had that sitting on the top of my bedstand, and it was, and I remember going to sleep, I actually looked at it and it was standing up straight, and then when I woke up it was knocked over, which I don't know if that had any, like I don't know, it was just another thing that I don't know if it, like it was just another weird thing that added to it, and it was just kind of like,
Oh yeah.
damn. And like in addition to that, my grandma also told me a story, like my grandma that I live with, just a few weeks ago. She lost her, or not a few weeks ago, like probably a month or two back, she lost her and her, I think it was her aunt that died actually.
Okay.
And something like significant happened where she was at her place alone, like my grandma, and I think she was just waking up from a nap, and she said that she heard people talking outside in the hallway. Like she lives in an apartment, so there's people that kind of converse and they kind of do their own thing around there and whatnot. So she was like, oh, I might go out and talk to them. And she woke up and she sat up, she looked at the door, and she saw her aunt with her husband, who are both dead, literally walk through the door, didn't open the door, walked through the door. She plain as day saw both of them. They went and they both stood around the kitchen table, looked at her, and then she was just shocked, she said. She looked at the door, saw that the door was locked, looked back at them, and they were gone.
Wow.
And like when you hear that from your own grandma, it's like it really like, it's just kind of like, I didn't know what to say to her. I was like, yeah, I believe you, but like I like
she's not gonna make that up. Like that's
no.
Oh man, yeah, I 100% believe for sure, for sure.
Yeah, like there's got to be something. Like I don't want to say that one religion has all the answers and stuff like that,
yeah.
but there's definitely something, and it's really a cool topic for me to talk about, because like I've had experiences, my family members have had experiences, and there's definitely something. I believe in something, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'm definitely similar to you. Like I haven't had any personal experiences, but I don't know. It's always funny. I always remember coming home from school, and I'd always put on like Ghost Hunters or like any of those shows, right?
Right.
And it's funny because my parents would go in, they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're watching this again." But you know, like you said, I think there's enough evidence out there. You know, hearing personal experiences like that, or even take what you can from any shows like that. Like I'd find it hard to believe that everything, like people believe things are so cut and dry, like this is how it is and this is what it's going to be. But I think even now, especially, we're seeing that things aren't as set into place as what people would like to believe or do believe. I think that
And are people like that just to help them sleep at
exactly
night,
that's just it, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I don't got to worry about ghosts, so they're not real, right? They don't.
Yeah.
I think that there's got to be something, because there's just too much out there that saying there is.
And I personally, I'm not scared of it either. Like I feel like some people might stay away from it because they feel scared or something. Like honestly, from those experiences, I feel like I said, when my grandma was talking to me when I was like half asleep or just waking up or whatever, I still felt like a level of comfort too,
Yeah.
and like I think, I don't know if it's like good or bad to have those experiences, but it's definitely like opened my eyes in a lot of different ways too. And yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Like I even know, God, I don't even know, probably 3 years ago when Emerson Patterson, you probably know Emerson.
Yeah.
He had that Ouija board. And you gotta kind of take what you can out of that. People screw around with it. But I remember the one, and I'm pretty sure that you were there, Josh.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah. We were in the basement of the M&P building here in Weyburn, where Blue Earth used to be. It was, God, probably
I actually forgot about
1
this.
in the morning. It was me, Josh, Emerson, and a couple other friends. So I forget what questions they were asking, but we picked something up, and I was pretty skeptic about the whole thing because you never know who's pushing that.
Yeah.
But so they asked a question, and it was, what the hell did it work? So they asked a question that basically only they would know, and if this
I think it was. Or go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, the spirit was basically just like saying, I think it was like their aunt or something.
No, it was it. Okay, so it was their. I think they had another sister. Maybe I think it was a sister that died at birth, and I think it might have spelt out her name or something, and then they instantly started crying, and we didn't know like what was going on because we didn't even know about that.
Yeah.
Right.
And then
it was some other things too.
no,
like
I know. And then after that, they kind of gained themselves, and they were like, okay, well, we actually, they didn't kind of believe at first. They're like, okay, well, let's ask some questions that only she would know if she says that she is who she is, you know. And I think they asked like, what is our street address, or what was our address number or something, and it went to the actual like numbers and stuff like that. So that was like crazy. Like I think we stopped after that, but yeah, it was.
Yeah, that's freaky. That's
Yeah.
that's definitely freaky.
I don't know if I've had like shivers down my spine as much as I did that night.
I wasn't
don't think I
skeptic
did.
after that, that's for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You definitely, you know what's going on.
Yeah.
So kind of on the same topic of like kind of weird stuff, would you say that you believe in like aliens or extraterrestrials or other life forms that aren't from Earth?
I feel like I haven't seen as much proof for aliens as I have for like ghosts, as we say, and stuff, it's spirits.
Yeah.
Except I feel like with the size of our atmosphere, there has to be something else out there. There's got to be.
Yeah,
That's all. That's all I think.
Yeah, I kind of get lost in the Ancient Aliens show at times, and it's kind of interesting to hear some of these astronaut theorists kind of talk about their beliefs and different things. They like to key in on a lot of like the ancient structures and buildings that are still sitting here today.
Right.
That those people and that culture at that time didn't have the technology to build a lot of the buildings, and like look at the pyramids, for example, or even any of the ancient like palaces that have like the granite and stone is in such detail that nowadays you'd have to have some kind of a laser thing to be able to even go into that much of detail. And
Right.
it's really cool to hear them talk about like that they believe there's no way that those people in that society could have built the structures that they built. Like even today, it would be machine operated for the majority of that, right? But I'm not saying that those people weren't capable of doing that, but in the other sense, they just didn't have the technology to do that, you know?
For sure.
And like seeing a lot of like the drawings on the ancient buildings and stuff, they like to depict a lot of like gods or whatever with like flames and like cool stuff. But like if you were in that society and you just seen a spacecraft land on ground, how would you portray that? Like I know I wouldn't know how to portray it, right? Because you haven't seen anything like that, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. It'd be definitely a state of shock for sure. It's like,
So like a lot of those ancient theorists like to key in on that it is like quite a big possibility that a lot of our ancient buildings and maybe even our history was shaped around like other life forms. And I don't really know what to believe, but it's interesting. I think it's an interesting topic to talk about.
I think it'll
Oh,
be
for
really
sure.
interesting too, like with the U.S. government having to bring out all these documents now about all the alien UFO type of things in the classified stuff. See what actually does come out and what can be portrayed out of that too. Because obviously, if they have a whole classified section of these documents, there's got to be something that, if there was nothing, why would you have it?
Yeah.
Type of
Oh
deal,
yeah,
right?
for sure. For sure. Area 51. What's actually going on, guys?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that these guys are right or wrong. I'm just saying they're making an interesting they just have interesting things to say, and it's definitely something that I can see being actually legit,
For sure. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
So would you say, like, I know it's kind of a broad thing to say, but would you say that you like change? Like you like changing things up, or like literally anything that isn't your norm, or like in a routine? Like, do you try to stay to a routine, or do you kind of like branching out and trying new things and kind of not staying in a routine?
I would definitely stay as I've grown up. I've definitely developed to liking change a lot more. When I was younger, I would definitely like, for example, if like plans would get changed, I would not be happy with that being like like if a plan was set, I was like, that's what's happening, kind of thing. And then if that changed, I would not be happy. But then now it's like I just kind of go with the flow, and I'm just kind of like I'm living my life, and then whatever happens kind of happens. And I just kind of, because sometimes the coolest experiences can come out of the weirdest of situations that you would never even expected yourself to be in.
Yeah,
So I like to be as much of a risk taker as I safely can be. So now I would definitely say, yeah, I do like change. I like to try new things because you never know what experiences and opportunities are going to come about after that.
exactly. I think it's really healthy to to like change and to like to do different things and even try things out, not necessarily if it's your passion, or if you're like have like some raw talent in it, which you might have too. You never know, like even
Right.
trying new things out, you might instantly just be good at it. So
Yeah.
like having like that like tunnel vision mindset of like one thing is like, I personally don't think that it's very that healthy. I think it's really good to do different things and to really like change and grasp it and go for it.
Won't it be boring just doing the same thing over and over and over and over
Definitely.
again, right?
Oh yeah.
Just repetitive. I know myself, I wouldn't be able to do anything like that. Like, I'll go in the garage and work on something for 25 minutes, and that gets boring, or I can't figure something out, then okay, well, it's kind of sporadic. Okay, I'll go do this or go do that. It keeps things interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know we were talking about like how it can be different to meet people nowadays, but like personally, I play a decent amount of video games, and I know that like I've some of my best friends that I still talk to this day, I've met through playing video games, like Fortnite in particular.
Yeah.
I've met multiple like good dudes that I've just met playing the game, and like not even anywhere as near my age either. Like I met a guy from Los Angeles, and ironically, my auntie actually lives near there, and me and Colton actually went there last Christmas, and we went into LA one night, and the guy hits me up. He's like, "Yo, you wanna go out and maybe stay the night at my place or whatever, see what the night brings?" So we're like, "Yeah, sure, let's do it." Never met him before, but I knew he was a good guy because I played with him for a year plus. And we went out to a barcade, had a great night, stayed the night at his place, and it was great, man. And it's like, and it's just cool to see that you can meet people like in different ways. Like you got to know if the guy's trustworthy and stuff too, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not, it's got to be your own judgment in that case.
Well,
but
And having a buddy go with you, probably a little bit more reassurance too. You have
yeah,
that kind
true.
of.
But that's the thing.
For
It's
sure.
just that's the thing that is possible nowadays. Whereas like even like 10 years ago, that would have never been a
Yeah,
case
people
at all,
that
you know.
you could meet today that you would like you said 10 years ago.
But I'm also
Strangers.
saying that like you're not gonna get a group of friends by playing Fortnite one night, you know. Like it takes time to do all that stuff too, and like don't go to some guy's house by meeting him one day or something, you know. Like it's gotta you gotta gel with them.
But that's just like meeting friends anywhere though, right? Like there's very few friendships that are you meet them the first day and now we're best friends and you're always hanging out and you're always doing this. Like I think that's kind of with every friendship, right? You got to kind of get comfortable with that person before, okay, well now do you want to sleep over? You know, come to the house and sleep over, watch movies or whatever, you know, back like when you were kids. Oh yeah, sure. You know, especially in a small town, I guess it was a lot easier too, because I know my parents know everybody's parents around here. So it's not like, okay, well, who is their parents? Who is this? You know, there's not like a 21 questions.
And that's a big thing with me too, is I'm very much more of like a one-on-one or like a very small group kind of guy where I don't really enjoy the big crowds, you know. Like I don't feel like you learn anything, or you like honestly like how like if you're in a big group of people you still probably only talk to like what one or two of them. Like I never really understood what the big like, oh, this is awesome out of like a big group other than like a party or something, you know. Like other than that, it was just like, even if I did go to a party, it's not like I talked to every single person there. It was just like you gravitated towards your buddies and stuff like that, you know?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm the opposite. I'll talk to
he's completely
everybody.
I know. Opposite, which is why I brought it up.
Yeah. But I don't know. In me personally, like with meeting people, like I always tried to, you know, be friends with everybody. Like I never tried, you know, not that anyone tries to make enemies, but like, you know how you'd have this group of people and this group of people. I didn't really see it like that. I'm like, yeah, you know what, I'll be friends with them. I'll be friends with them. And, you know, they don't click with that group, but I don't know. It's kind of, what's the word for it? I don't know. It's kind of like grazing, right? You know, I'll go over here, hang out with them, and then, okay, well, let's walk over to this side and hang out with these people that are completely different, right? But also you get to see a lot of different perspectives that way too.
Exactly, and see what kind of everybody's energy is a bit different, you know. So it's definitely it's definitely cool to see, like, because I know I'm completely different than him on that side of it. Like I would never like walk up to a random group of people and be like, yo, what's going on? You know, like that's just not who I am. You know, I want to get to know people, and like, not saying that you don't like to get to know people, but like I'm just kind of different that way, you know.
80% of the time it works out positively. 20%.
I can attest.
The other 20% they usually want to fight or something, but.
And that's also kind of what, like, I don't know if like COVID has like something to do with it, or if it's just kind of like the norm around here, but there's so many like small groups of like friends and stuff in Weyburn especially. Like I don't know if it's the same anywhere else. Like it would be cool to see people comment about that, but like if like everyone kind of has their like group of like 5 or 10 people that they just call it their like group of friends or whatever, you know. And I think it's good to have a group of friends, because I'm sure there's people that don't have that group of friends, that don't have that option to have a bunch of group of friends, you know. But I think it would be like cool to see, like, I don't know, more people kind of incorporate themselves with other people, you know. Like not necessarily like, hey, let's like link arms and get COVID together, but like, you know, like just a quick DM or like, hey, how are you doing? You know? And I feel like that's gone out the window nowadays. Whereas like everyone, if you message someone, they instantly jump to conclusions and they're like, oh, what does this person want from me? It's like, I just want to be your friend, dude. I'm not here to take anything from you. Like, you know?
Well, especially like when you think 10 years ago, before text messaging came and all this social media and stuff, you called your friends on the phone.
I had this guy's home phone number memorized, dude, because that would be the number that I would call every day after school. You know?
Exactly. Like I've still got Carter Barrett's phone number memorized too. It's like best friends when you were kids. It's like you called your friends on the phone, and that's what you did. And same with your parents. Like your mom would be hogging the phone line and she's talking to her friend. Whereas now we're all sitting there staring at a screen. We're all sitting in the same living room, except then we're all staring at a screen. and then it's harder to have like those like personal connections like
Oh, for
outside
sure.
of the phone, you know?
Well, and a text message can be portrayed in so many different ways too. Like
Oh my
you can
gosh,
mean
yeah.
one thing, and then someone else can take it as something completely different. It can be just a shit show basically.
Yeah.
Exactly, because there's no tone, you know?
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Yeah. I think one of the funniest things is that this guy has like, I don't know, how many people's phone numbers would you say that you have memorized that you could just like,
Oh, a lot.
yeah, exactly. He like where people would have contacts in their phone. This guy just has like people's numbers. He doesn't have contacts. He just knows their number, and that's really like cool that he like if say that he lost his phone or like anything
Yeah.
happened to his phone.
Oh,
like
yeah.
people are so dependent on these things nowadays, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. I always
Like
tell
what
people,
would people do if like this got thrown out the window or you like fell in a pool? Like, oh my God, my life is over. You know?
Yeah.
Like it's I don't know. It's honestly sad in a way to see that technology is almost like running how people like see themselves and like how they want to go about their day and stuff like that.
Yeah. I always tell people, because lots of people, they're like, why don't you have any contact names in your phone? I'm like, well, how about this? You have your phone and it breaks or something, and you got to use a stranger's phone. You can't look in their contacts and go call mom, because it's going to call their mom. It's not going to call your mom.
Oh yeah, for sure.
People get so dependent on things like that. I don't know why. Probably more of just a lazy thing to put people's name in my phone. I don't know, but he's right. Like I got people's numbers memorized.
I think it's more lazy to put it in your phone than to fucking implement it up here.
True enough.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, I don't know. I really don't have any more questions for you, man. I think we've hit a lot of good topics, and I think we've really talked about a lot of good things, and
I agree.
It's honestly been awesome to talk to you and really catch your vibe and see what you're all about, man.
Yeah, you guys too. Like, obviously, you guys were the older kids when I grew up in junior high and high school, except like to now talk on an adult level and just kind of like be on the same page and everything. It's really cool because like obviously I grew up with you guys, except it's a totally different thing now, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, man, for sure.
And that's even another thing, like Josh was saying, like, people may know you for your music, but like this is an awesome platform to show like different sides of you too, right? Like, your music is what you do, but it's not all of you. And that's what I love about this concept is like you get to see all sides of somebody.
Oh yeah, same. I completely agree.
Yeah, and their different opinions and kind of just like get to know someone too, because like especially in COVID times, like this is an awesome way to get to know you instead of like seeing you in a bar or whatever and trying to talk to you there. Like this is a great way to really get to know you and stuff like that.
Well, and really at a bar too, right? Like you have a conversation for maybe 5 minutes at the most, and what do you really get out of that conversation? Not very much.
Yeah. Wait, no, I remember the last time I saw Colton. It was after it was after my drive-in concert in August with 7th Avenue, and I went to another round, and Colton bought me a fishbowl, and it was exactly. He just came up to me and he's like, we just started talking. He's like, I'm buying you a drink.
Yeah,
that's the type of person he is.
Yeah, exactly. Good stuff.
Don't anyone say otherwise.
So yeah, we were talking earlier that you were going to do a little performance for us here near the end. So kind of whenever you're ready, man, you can take the floor.
For sure. Yeah, I'll just grab my guitar real quick.
Good stuff.
Right, so I was talking about that song called "Never Wanted You." I wrote it about some past girl experiences, and I'll kind of let the song tell the story. I'm going to be in the recording studio with this song and the next song on Monday, so I'm really excited about that. Here I am heartbroken by the ones I never had. They always ate up my time, but never wanted my hand. While I was falling, they were chasing someone else. I always thought that they hurt me, but I hurt myself, wasting days waiting by the phone. I guess I should have known that it's a dead end road for the nice guys, full of red arrows and nowhere signs. When you're reading lies, it turns you blind, then you come to find the truth. They never wanted you. They never wanted you. When they said that they'd come out, I shouldn't have held my breath. Don't hear from them till the next day. Why do they always forget? I think I care too much, or they don't care enough. Too bad the world's filled with those who'd rather get hurt than be loved. It's over before we say hello, 'cause I already know that it's a dead end road for the nice guys, full of red arrows and nowhere signs. When you're reading lies, it turns you blind, then you come to find the truth. They never wanted you. Well, I'm a changed man now from then. The biggest difference is I'm scared to fall again. Started leading on and ignoring calls just to see how it feels on the other end. 'Cause it's a dead end road for the nice guys, full of red arrows and nowhere signs. When you're reading lies, it turns you blind, then you come to find the truth. They never wanted you. They never wanted you. They never wanted you.
Wow, man, good stuff. Holy shit.
Awesome.
That was awesome.
Thank
That
you
was
so
honestly
much, guys.
awesome. That was great, dude.
I'm glad you liked that.
I honestly connected that in like a personal way too, like connected to that song. So that was really cool to hear that song, man.
Thank you. I'm glad you guys like it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Good stuff, man. Are you just gonna head into the next one then, or?
Yeah, I'll kind of tell the story about this last one and give her on the
Sounds
last
good,
one
man.
too. So,
Take
yeah.
her away.
Cool. All right. So as I said, I lived in Belgium for a year, and when one night I was at a bar, and I was walking back to the train station to go home, and I heard this guitar player playing, and it was a song that I knew. It was an Ed Sheeran song, and I went up to him and I was like, "Hey, can I sing with you?" And he was like, "Yeah, I guess so." So we just started singing together and playing, and then we formed a friendship and we started busking all over Belgium together, and just kind of like became friends and started playing all over. And this is kind of the story of that friendship, I guess. It's called Down That Road.
Been laying out on the dock bar, I stumbled out the door, I think I drank too much, and I hear a song calling out to me, with the strings again together like a symphony, yeah, like a symphony. Ooh. Then I see a man with a crooked smile, look like he been standing there for quite a while, and I said, hey man, can I sing with you? Said, boy, yes he can, and then he played the tune, yeah, yeah, then he played the tune. Out on my own, with a bag full of nothing and the spirit in my bones, don't know where I'll go, but the player on the corner told me head on down that road. Told me head on down that road. Yeah. He said this path is yours to take. You can live it if you want to. Another day on the cobblestone, hopped the train from Ozani, now I'm all alone. In the square, saw someone I knew with a ball cap, a blue shirt, and leather shoes. Yeah, yeah. Said salute on me, how have you been? Then he looked up at me and gave me a grin. Said, my friend, are you ready to sing? Then I nodded my head and he strummed his strings. Yeah, then he strummed his strings. Yeah. Out on my own, with a bag full of nothing and the spirit in my bones, don't know where I'll go, but the player on the corner told me head on down that road. Told me head on down that road. Yeah. Said this path is yours to take. You can live it if you want to. Well, I gotta go back across the pond. Time has come for all that song. Said goodbye, not for long, my friend. When you come back around, we'll do it again. Gotta go back across the pond. Time has come for all that song. Said goodbye, not for long, my friend. Well, I'm out on my own, with a bag full of nothing and the spirit in my bones. Don't know where I'll go, but the player on the corner told me head on down that road. Head on down that road. Head on down that road. Yeah.
Wow, man, you're
Awesome.
honestly incredible. Like that
Awesome.
was really good. Like
Thank you so much, guys.
it just seems like you just have fun with it too, man. Like
Yeah.
you're in the moment, just watching you, man. You're loving every second of it, right?
Yeah.
That it really is. That's exactly how it is. I love every second that I'm playing and singing. That's all I ever want to do.
Yeah, like your headphones fell off your head and you just kept going with it, man, because you just loved the moment, and that was really great to see, man. Honestly.
Thank you so much, guys.
And the storytelling in that song, it almost puts me there, and I have no like.
Yeah, like I'm gonna have to go back and listen to that again, like over a few times to really grasp the entire story. But
Yeah,
that was,
like just yeah.
that was great, man.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Thank you. That's gonna be my next single. That song, "Down That Road," is gonna be my next single. We're gonna be in the studio, and I'll probably be releasing that one as a single either end of February or the start of March. So.
So were you always like confident in like your voice and confident to perform and stuff like that? Like you have a lot of confidence when you perform, man.
I feel like it's definitely gotten better with experience, but I was always one to jump the gun and just go ahead and sing in front of anybody.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's kind of always.
And honestly, at the end of the day, who cares what, like, that's what most people are scared about and maybe not as confident, is that they care what people think. Like, honestly, don't care what people think and just do what you're passionate about, man. And you're doing a hell of a job of it.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, you bet. So do you have any you want to plug your Instagram or anything social media wise, or kind of
Yeah.
Anything upcoming? Yeah.
Brayden King Music is my Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. So if you want to go check me out there, you will find basically everything, and YouTube as well as Brayden King Music. So
Good stuff.
I try to
And-
keep
and
it.
You also mentioned that your TikTok was kind of blowing up too. You wanna plug that as well? Is it just the same?
Yeah, it's also Brayden King Music, all one. I think we're currently sitting at 23,000 followers. So
Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
yeah, very happy with how that's going so far. So hopefully that journey continues.
Yeah, that was awesome for you to perform for us as well. In addition to doing pretty much an entire interview about your life as well. So that was really appreciated, man. Honestly, it was great to have you.
I had so much fun doing this with you guys. It was great. Like, if you guys ever want me on again, let's talk some other topics. You guys
for
are
sure.
great,
Yeah.
great to talk to. So yeah, let's keep in touch for sure. This was awesome.
Yeah, man, 100%. I think we're gonna be posting it exclusively on YouTube, so that'll be up
Cool.
in the next few days for sure.
Awesome. Looking
Yeah, you bet.
forward to it for sure.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. That was great again, and I hope you take care, man. I hope you keep giving her with the music, and I hope you keep growing. And I really hope the best for you, man.
Thank you. You guys as well. Let's keep in touch for sure. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
100%, man.
All right.
Talk to you later,
Take
bro.
care.
See ya.
Yeah, for sure. Have a good one.
Peace out.